Hello everybody, my name is Spoons Rattling. Welcome to another video where we are of course discussing the rules of Warhammer 40k. And today we are covering the consolidated profile trend that we've seen in 10th edition and also in 9th edition and also in the past. This isn't necessarily a new thing, but there is some new ways it's being applied to the game. And that's what we're going to mainly cover today. How it can be done right and how it can be done wrong in my personal opinion. Of course, if you disagree, I want to hear what you think down in the comments. We're going to start off with how I think they can be done right, and the poster child of this is Chosen. The Chosen have a lot of really cool melee weapons that got consolidated into the Accursed Weapon profile last edition, and that has persisted into 10th edition. Now, overall, this isn't the first time this has happened. In editions past, there have just been generic power weapon profiles for all power weapons, excluding the heavy hitters like Power Fists, just as it is now. Overall, I think that this is a perfectly fine way of doing it, because the simple fact of the matter is that a lot of melee weapon profiles, when they were separate, just kind of sucked. Power axes, power mauls, both of those weapons were just abominable, but they look cool. I like the axe, I like the maul, I want to use them, but if I do, I'm punished with like a strength 6 AP 1 damage 1 melee weapon. Or the power axe, plus 2 strength with 2 AP and damage 1. It's just a worse power sword. It really is unfortunate, but I think consolidating all of these weapons into a much better profile allows me to model my models just how I want them to. Say I want to give my Chaos Terminator a big power axe because it looks cool. I don't want to be punished because the weapon profile is just infinitely worse than a power sword, a power fist, or a chain fist, which is exactly what happened with Chaos. Terminators got the change, these guys got the change, Lords got the changed. I think that this helps because melee weapons naturally need to be powerful enough to justify delivering them. And when a melee weapon sucks, there's no real reason to take it because delivering it isn't worth it. As well as the whole thing of modeling it is just making your model worse, which is generally not a good thing. It also opens up potentials for kit bashing and similar sort of, fields like that. It allows models as a whole to be more personalized, more varied, which for some units I like the uniform look of everyone being equipped the same, but for my Chosen, I kind of like all of them having these different melee weapons. It makes them all feel much more characterful, and I think for veterans and stuff like that makes perfect sense. Of course, some people are going to complain about it because they complain about everything, but some people do generally miss like power axes having a profile, but I'd just say I don't think they lost a profile, it's just their profile got better, as all the power weapons did. And I think that this is exactly how you go about consolidating profiles in terms of weapons, is keep their purpose the same, but just make them more balanced as to not restrict someone for not having a bit or for modeling their model with a cool melee weapon. I don't think that's something that 40k should ever do, because a big part of this hobby is the hobby side of it. I know that on YouTube we mostly talk competitive because there isn't much to talk about casually, but most players are casual players. I'd say the 40 or so regulars at my Warhammer store are all casual players, except for a couple people who like to go to LVO every year. In reality, this is just a benefit. It speeds up the game, it keeps melee weapons balanced, as well as opens up more modeling opportunities. I see no problems with doing it this way, but there is a way that it can be done wrong, and we saw that in this edition with the introduction of the combi weapon profile. Now, combi weapons are an iconic staple of 40k. Once you get into 40k, you'll know what a combi weapon is. They're not as ubiquitous as you'd probably assume. Really, only Space Marines and Orcs really use them. But they still are iconic. It's 2 weapons strapped together. Who doesn't like that? It's cool. Though, in general, they've had a pretty iffy history on whether or not they're worth it, from their time as one-shot weapons to their times as debuffing you for using both profiles at once, which then introduced new imbalances with the idea of combi flamers, which didn't need to roll the hit, so there was really no reason to not fire them both at the same time, which then introduced balance problems with the other combi weapons, as well as some combi profiles just not being worth using, like combi gravs in general just being inferior to combi meltas. But I don't think the 10th edition approach was executed properly. I'm fine with the idea, the trade-off if it's less accurate, but it punches harder if it hits, which I think fits a combi weapon just fine. After all, you are firing 2 weapons. It's not going to be the most accurate, and they're 2 different weapons, which would require different skill sets to fire. I'm fine with them having less shots and being less accurate, but what I'm not fine with is them all having the same rule. While anti-infantry makes sense for, say, combi flamers or I guess, combi plasmas to an extent. I'd say that this idea that I've come up with would fix most of the problems and bring combi weapons from being ubiquitously bad to actually quite interesting, because this would allow them to fill multiple roles while not dominating every role, as the combi weapon should be. It should be a jack of all trades but a master of none. While it can do good damage, a full-blown version of that weapon will be more consistent. And my fix is through a simple ability. I think they could add it in a balanced data slate, and I think it'd be really interesting for balance terms. What you do is you just add this ability to any unit that can take a combi weapon. So, combi weapon. During the declare formation step of this game, select one of the following keywords. All combi weapons gain that keyword for the duration of the battle, either anti-infantry, anti-monster, or anti-vehicle. This can allow you to not only model your guys how you like, while also specializing them, as a combi weapon should be. It should be like it should be able to specialize into one thing while still being generalist enough with its secondary weapon. While also allowing these units to have more roles in terms of course, infantry clearing, anti-monster, which would probably be plasma in my mind, and then anti-vehicle would of course be Melta and combi gravs. This isn't a perfect fix, of course, but I think it is actually a great idea to allow more modeling opportunities while also not restricting people to having to pay exorbitant prices for bits. If, say, a model doesn't come with a combi Melta, but you want to give your captain a combi Melta, now you don't have to go on eBay and pay $5 for a tiny piece of plastic. This just opens up modeling possibilities, as well as, I think, balances combi weapons much better. They'd still be balanced by their inaccuracy and lack of shots, while also being more specialized, instead of just being a really mediocre version of the combi bolter. This is something that I genuinely think would greatly improve Sternguard veterans, chosen, Chaos Terminators, captains that can take combi weapons. All of these would benefit from this greatly. Sternguard veteran sergeants, tactical sergeants. All of these, I think, could really benefit from this, and not to mention Orc Knobs, or Orc Mega Knobs. Those are the main units that use these, and this would allow them to be more specialized while not invalidating other weapon profiles or invalidating this weapon profile. I think this is genuinely a great idea, and I know I'm a tiny YouTuber. I only have 900 subscribers, and I know GW isn't spying on me. I'm not that schizo. But hey, James, if you see this rule, why not give it a shot? And I know with certain things like Sternguard, it may seem, it would seem strong, but obviously they're a pricey elite unit. They should be able to tackle the targets that they're sent out to with their specialist weapons. I don't think this would break the game in any way, at all. I genuinely think this is one of the best changes they could make that would really patch up one of my few issues with 10th edition, which is just combi weapons being kind of lame. Regardless, I've rambled for long enough. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you think down below. What would you change about combi weapons to make them more interesting? Or do you think this idea would be good? Or do you think I'm an idiot? Because I probably am. Anyways, I've been Spoons Rattling. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.